All right. And we are on with Million Dollar Mistake, episode 4.
Is this 4 now? So we are going to post the last one?
Only because you look so sweet.
And we're doing 2 back to back now? I
Back
seriously
to back.
didn't know that
That's
you
a
were going to
Drake-
do this right now.
That's a Drake song reference right there. We're going to do
Okay.
this shit back to back. Like
Back
96,
to back.
97.
I waited 4 days. Nigga, where
Whoa,
y'all
oh,
at?
what if you're going to drop that or not? Oh.
Okay.
Very important.
Well, I
and
guess-
we are very important.
We are very important and,
And
very
very
pretentious. All right. Well,
I was
Jack,
thinking we need to do this more. Yeah. Thank you for introducing me. Yes, this is Jack, and we have River here as well with her seductive voice.
I think that is a hint that I need to try a little harder.
No.
Which kind of goes off the tails of the last one, that the more we are ourselves, the less people like us. So
I think we should go more like TED Talk style. How can this change your life? Let's
That's
change.
good.
Let's
We-
change one person's life
honestly,
today.
we do need a focus for this whole mess of a podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, when we started this, we didn't really have anything in mind, like what we wanted to accomplish or we wanted to send. Like Freakonomics has their thing about,
It's a rare treat in life to have a circumstance
know.
thrust upon you. Isn't that how a conversation goes? Where you get to just. That's how I do my conversations. I just cut people off and start talking.
Well, you are very important and very pretentious.
Somebody stop me. I'm talking bossy. More references.
You are
to
top
songs.
2,
But I'm
and
not.
you're
So.
not 2, so
Yeah, just saying. You can do the math.
2
on
with
that.
2 here. All right.
Whatever.
Anyways, go on.
I'm thinking like TED Talk style. You really change the world or change somebody's life. If you change one person's life tonight, Ms. River, how do you think you could accomplish that? What gift of wisdom do you have to share with the world? Let's just give the listening audience a tip. Some life advice.
Well, I'm some things came to mind, but they're all like super cliche. Something specific.
I mean, I could say like, don't get cremated if you're still alive.
Oh, that's way too obvious.
Well,
like,
back in the World War II, it wasn't too obvious.
I'm trying to balance
Is
here.
it too dark or no? Has enough time elapsed?
That's not too dark.
Okay, good.
The ones we had on the app yesterday were really bad.
Yeah.
Those actually made me laugh. See, Jack was saying that I don't laugh at his jokes anymore, and I was like, well, basically, like, you're not funny anymore. You're too, like, clean. So he looked up some dirty...
Too clean?
I know, that's a funny statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
He looked up some dirty jokes, and they were bad, like child molesting bad, but I mean, they were funny. Okay, anyways, so I'm trying to balance here.
Okay, so we've established that you think child molestation is a funny topic.
Hilarious.
Good ethics from you. Yeah, or more.
Yeah, all these now we're going to start incorporating our song lyrics and our little phrases, which we talked about briefly in episode 2.
Yeah. So what kind of other phrases do we have?
No, you're going to talk now. You asked if the life advice is going to change somebody's...
Then start spewing.
I'm trying to think here. What I was saying was I'm trying to balance between saying something that's specific enough and not super cliche, but that's still executable. And that's actually pretty tough to do. Change someone's life. Well, why don't you start, because it was your question. Let me think, because I'm actually profound.
Okay.
You can throw out the stupid answer and make mine sound better.
Let's chew on this for a minute then. I think your goal in life, like we talked about in the last episode, which happened all of maybe 5 minutes ago. We're going back to back. So I think the life advice I would give, or the TED Talk moral story here for this part at least, can be to stop and assess why throughout life are you walking around with angry or resentful thoughts in your head, and why are you not challenging those thoughts immediately and trying to shift them to more positive thoughts, or at least ignoring them and pushing them out altogether, because it's not that hard to do. And I think people get into this victim role where they don't know how to control their own thoughts. And they act like their thoughts control them, rather than recognizing that thoughts can pop into your head in a way
visitors, they come
that feels random, and it feels like not in your control. And it probably isn't really in your control most of the time, whether you have a thought. But what you do have control over is how you proceed forward in your mind. Because most of us stay up in our head, at least introverts do. We stay in our head all the time.
Yeah, is that what you want to water? Is that what you want to feed that thought?
And at first, you're going to have these things, you have these topics, these thoughts coming up that bother you over and over and over again, and it feels like it's never going to go away. And I can attest to the fact that with that CBT mentality, of just challenge the thoughts and then try and shift away from them and think about other things, your brain is very plastic, or rather rewirable, and it will begin. You no longer feed off the energy of those negative thoughts. And so you can just choose to bring up something more positive or
What's the
ignore it
function
altogether.
of those thoughts? You have to really evaluate that.
The thoughts
still.
stop coming after a while.
People say that they
really
don't want to
do.
be angry or whatever, but then
You have
they
to
will
put in the
ruminate
mental effort.
and constantly go over things that make them upset and choose to,
You walk around
water their
pissed.
anger,
You walk
yeah.
around pissed off all the time. Just go tell the person you're pissed off at that you hate them.
Well, what's the function? I think some people almost sort of identify that as being like an angry person, and I mean that's almost like safer for them. I think to
If you
walk
walk
around
around convinced everybody's going to hurt you in some way,
they will though.
you are going to 100% be right that nobody's going to surprise hurt you because you've already assumed that everybody's going to hurt you.
Well, this is another thing we've talked about, how everybody in your life will hurt you. I mean, family, friends, who's in your life for more than, I don't know, about a week that you get close to that doesn't at some point hurt you, and a lot of times pretty severely.
You know who never hurt me? Norris the hamster.
Well, Norris is the reincarnation, though. Yeah, you didn't think about that one, did you? And that person did hurt you, so, you need to check yourself. Okay, anyways.
Norris only very slightly hurt my feelings when he flicked away that piece of apple that I was trying
He was
to
just
feed
rosing
him.
it.
And he was.
That's the day he became a rose.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was pretty badass, though. I that was some respect for that hamster right there when he flicked that apple out. He knows what he wants and what he doesn't want. And that's something that a lot of people don't have, is the capacity to know what it is they want and what they don't
Oh,
want.
I was thinking that too, actually, that they people aren't happy, and it's because of something that they are doing or are not doing every day. The secret to life is in your daily habits. And so people think that by being active in the community and like, oh, I'm going to volunteer for all these things and I'm being involved in all this stuff and I'm going to take my kids here and there, these extracurricular activities. And they think that by like filling up their schedule that that's going to like make them happy, and then they complain that they don't have time for anything.
You need to slow down when you talk.
I'm not really saying anything important anyways, but you know what I'm getting at, right? Can you help elaborate, make this?
No, I was distracted.
Can you? All right, we're just going to completely scratch Jack's whole piece of life advice there.
No,
And we're going to move on to mine. And I did think of something.
I think everybody at some point should try to engage
Oh
in some
my
serious
God.
CBT or DBT, because it is very helpful. Because almost everybody,
CBT or DBT? I'm confused.
either one of them would work just fine.
We'll throw in some FFT too while we're there.
The fuck are you families talking
Maybe
about?
some
That's FFT to me.
structural.
I think people need to challenge their thoughts more, because you walk around irritated at things that you either can control and aren't choosing to act on, or you can't control and are choosing to sit around being all worried about it. And that's stealing from 12 Rules of Life and How to Break the Worry Cycle. But, all we are is a big collection of shit we've already read.
That's
so
true, actually.
that's a good metaphysical, deep, mushy topic, is all we are. Do you ever have an original thought?
No, you are just a compilation of people around you and your past experiences, but you construct them together in a unique way. We talked about this before about like making connections and how
Oh, we all want to feel unique. How
we
about
can put.
most of us put shit together in the
I
exact
don't
same
get
way we
anything
were
out
told?
here.
Oh, we just need to speak more confidently.
You need to say something that actually like matters, right?
Just speak more confidently.
Okay, no, I'm teasing you. And now I don't remember what I was saying.
See,
No, I do.
I'm such a narcissist. I just
Oh my
control the conversation,
gosh.
don't I?
You could put 20 people in a room and show them a clip, like from a video, and they can all make a connection to it. And every person is going to make a slightly different connection that they arrived at in a slightly different way. However, the common denominator was that they all did make a connection and that they all felt something. Maybe different emotions or different varying levels of intensity, but I think that goes back to the whole, are you unique? Yes and no. Yes, in that your
Are you talking about chaos
individual
theory?
meaning. No, not at all.
I think you're talking about
I don't
chaos
think you're
theory.
listening to me like at all.
I think you're talking about chaos theory.
All right. Moving on to my life advice.
On a personal
This is the second time we're going to try to abandon Jack's.
Why are you trying to abandon Jack?
Prompt here.
I got good
Live
input.
consistently, guys. Live consistently. And what I mean by that is,
How many people have written down their rules?
yeah, this is super unoriginal. So the last one was about how we are unoriginal, and now,
Mm-hmm. Well, then maybe what we can be is the
okay. But
spurring
should we be
on.
ourselves? Because when have you been yourself, and when did it work out for you, and when did it not work out for you? Let me ask you that. because originally the podcast, why everyone hates us. My theory is that
So quick to forget when we broke our own rules, aren't we?
broke our own rules on what?
People in general are very quick to forget when they break their own rules. And are slow
Oh
to
yeah,
forgive.
we're very, very good
Forget
judges
when you
of
break
others
your
and
rules.
attorneys for ourselves.
And I love how some people walk around with these like unwritten rules that you need to follow. And then you break one of these rules that you didn't know it existed.
Were you thinking something in particular here?
No.
Okay. All right. Live
Just
consistently, and
metaphysical mush.
that's all we are. Many people don't live consistently. They say they want something, and they don't really want that. They say they want somebody who's honest with them, and they don't. Because I am the realest motherfucker, honestly. Huh. And people don't want that because I force them to own up to their own mistakes, and they see the hypocrite that they really are, the dirty, nasty person when they're around me, which is probably just a reflection because I'm a dirty, nasty person. Right?
Very, very few people enjoy being held accountable. Possibly no people
They want fake.
enjoy being held accountable. Because when somebody holds you to a standard, any standard, they feel constrained, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We just don't see. I don't think we can really do an honest inventory and look at ourselves in the way that we maybe contributed to a problem. We're very good about instantly outsourcing blame.
Mm-hmm.
You are the professional blame assigner here.
I am a certified blame assigner.
A certified something something.
Whatever.
That was like a genuine laugh and smile out of you. I don't get that very often.
Well, I have a sufficient amount of dopamine to smile. Woohoo.
That's all you are. Technically the only thing that makes you happy.
The only two things make me happy, dopamine and serotonin.
Okay, so we started this one again, going back to back after you think we couldn't really come up with even enough content for one, and now we're almost halfway through two.
There's a lot of depth to be had in psychology, and that's why we try and talk about that sort of stuff. Because business is boring.
Mm-hmm.
Science, I am not a scientist.
Psychology, though, really only has a few like major tenets that you can hit on, and then...
But people are really drawn to anything they can relate to themselves.
Yeah, that's why we like psychology. Are all psychologists narcissists? I mean, the only reason that we ever initially get into it is because it strikes us as interesting because we can relate to it, and it's about me. Oh, that's an interesting thought. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not really. But...
Okay, so we said know your rules before you break them. We talked about accountability there.
Mm-hmm.
How about this thought? Identify what situations. Can you stop and identify situations in which you behave like a narcissist? Go and read the definition for what a narcissist is, or how to define a narcissist. And then instead of being defensive and saying, well, that's not me, try to embody for a moment the narcissist and think back to when in life you've been
Do you think you're a narcissist,
engaged.
Jack?
Absolutely. When you've been spurred to act like a narcissist. And then did you or did you not take accountability for the way you may have harmed people in that
I want to
scenario?
ask you something about this.
Chances are you're going to either struggle to identify a situation where you act like a narcissist, which is a lie. You maybe just aren't thinking hard enough. Or if you do identify a situation, chances are you're going to, if you're any bit immature, and most of us are at least, have some maturing to do, I would think, unless if you're very old and have been around the block many times.
No, you still have maturing to do. That's lifelong.
We almost all always have some maturing to do. You're probably going to feel squeamish trying to identify the way you wronged other people because you didn't physically harm them. You just did something that was maybe...
Well, we instantly just start, as I said, outsourcing blame, but it's, yes, the defense mechanisms. It is second nature. I mean, seriously, try to think about something you've done wrong and tell me how long it takes for you to start even justifying it to yourself or to, start making excuses for your own behavior. It's almost instantaneous for me.
That you start making excuses for yourself?
Yeah, that I start thinking like, well, I only did that because she did this and that. I can't.
Well, no, she didn't. That's what I heard.
No, it's true though. I mean, seriously, I want you to take this moment here and try to think about something.
You're right. Somebody always
you've done wrong.
Somebody has done something to spur you to act or react.
There's contributing factors, which now we're sounding like the last one here a little bit, and when you understand all of those when you're an insider, and so it's hard to not focus on those, what other people did wrong, to defend yourself, even to yourself, just in your head here.
Because we're vulnerable.
Where nobody can hear you, and you still can't admit full
Yeah,
responsibility.
people can't read your mind, so just go ahead and accept the fact that you were a shitty person at one point.
Right, and we still can't even do that. I mean, that's an interesting.
I know. We
interesting
walk around. We
exercise.
want to rock around thinking that we're all Jesus, not doing anything wrong. Well, I mean, I wouldn't have done that.
I want to back up, okay? When I asked you if you were a narcissist, and you quickly said yes.
Uh-huh.
When you made that realization, and I will agree, that you were indeed a narcissist, that kind of breaks from one of the points of it, which is that people with a personality disorder don't see themselves as a problem. Like,
as soon as you identify yourself as a narcissist, are you still a narcissist?
Yes. Okay. There's that there. But
especially if you're a narcissist saying, I really want to help. I really don't want to
the
be
communal
a
narcissist is the interesting one. I am so good.
I wouldn't be a narcissist if people wouldn't talk me up so much.
Okay. Regardless, you're getting me off track again here. See,
look at how. Yeah, I know.
You got a lot better when you admitted it.
Yeah.
And that was really like a turning point for you. And I know that things being like lifelong and personality disorders being enduring across multiple situations, that nothing, as somebody who truly has a personality disorder, it's never going to go away in the same way like an eating disorder or an addiction or something that can never go away. It just kind of goes into remission. But I want you to talk just here for a moment. You got this dazed out look in your eyes, like you don't care what I'm saying.
No, I'm listening very intently.
About what was that shift for you of admitting it and then pretty rapidly your behavior improving, and I think it was genuine too, not just behavior, but I genuinely saw a positive change in you.
Well, you explained it, or YouTube videos along with your input explained.
You did something that was really hard, which is you looked at yourself, and somebody who thought that they were just so fucking awesome looked at yourself and said, no, I'm probably not. I'm probably the reason why there's a lot of problems in me and people around me, or, and that's really hard to do. And I'm giving you credit here for that. And so I guess I'm asking you then to say like how you did that.
How did I do that? Well, like I said, I was starting to say there, I think the first step was there was a genuine want on my end. I think as all males will have, there's a genuine want for something. And I wanted to understand myself. What was it? What kind of phrase or terms could I apply to myself that really fit? Because you walk around feeling like you're just this amorphous blob of psychobabble bullshit, as they would say, as the saying goes. And you feel like, you can pluck any one particular term and you can apply it to yourself in certain situations, but there's going to be one that overrides all of them. And there's a certain comfort to be had intrinsically. It just feels better to say, you know what, this explains me. Because there's always an explanatory factor of some kind. So it's nice to know.
So you felt a connection to like
that based on the way I was raised as a child and adult experiences, I could feel like I could diagnose myself with something. There's
just a fit to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I had to have enough life experiences turn negative for me to realize that there was a problem. Mm-hmm. Effectively losing your job or getting fired. I don't technically say I got fired, but no longer being employed.
I'm sitting here defending you in my head instantly. Like, well, there's a lot that went into that. So
right.
No,
but there were still behaviors on my end.
Absolutely.
And I want to understand what it is I did that contributed to that, because I can't control other people and I can't know the whole truth. But I can know my own truth and I can stand in that.
I take you as me, and the way I defend myself instantly, I start defending you instantly.
Oh, thank you.
That's what I'm saying. So keep going. I'm sorry.
I love you too.
I didn't say that.
Whatever.
I hate myself, remember?
Yeah.
Treat your neighbor as yourself. Well, what if I hate myself?
Yeah.
Most of us do. Anyways.
There's a lot of satisfaction to be had in being able to apply some terminology to yourself, and kind of struggled with a lot of different terms, especially some that maybe were only spiking or flaring up in the moment. But you can tell once those subside and you use CBT, there is a certain pattern. There's a common trend across time. And yeah, it's very fitting to call myself a narcissist. And upon doing that, I realized that basically everybody fucking hates narcissists. Like literally everybody they're universally just like the worst people. So I thought, I really kind of don't want to be the worst person. Maybe like the second worst I can be. So I really don't want to be the worst person.
It's a top two.
Yeah, exactly. Number one jerk that I walk around feeling like everybody loves me, and I realize that might not actually be the case. And that's a really painful reality just to come to see. But when certain end results seem to coincide with that, yeah, you're right. I don't think everybody actually likes you that much. you realize that you can start changing your behavior, and people might actually start liking you.
But what's interesting was it's not like you changed something major.
What did I change?
Well, that's what I'm asking you, I guess. What do you think you changed?
What change did you see?
More patience. I guess more just instead of walking into a situation and immediately trying to turn it on yourself. And I'm not just talking about conversation, more just like if you come home, for example, I might be in the middle of something like with the kids. And previously, when you were in a narcissistic mood, I don't know how to describe it, you might come in and instantly start talking about yourself or want the situation to be a certain way. This is
a sense of entitlement.
Almost like you just walk in and all of a sudden everyone needs to drop everything and kind of cater to you and then what you want in this moment. And there's not a whole lot of understanding for...
I only had eyes for my own self-sacrifice that I had during the day. Not the sacrifice that you or anybody else was going through.
I'm just trying to think of like the easiest example of how I saw that change. And then it seems like when you...
I think it's called common decent, like just being a decent human.
But it was... The thing about being a narcissist or a lot of other personality disorders is it's not like you're walking around trying to be shitty. It's more just like what's more natural for you is to be this way.
You're an energy suck. I mean, that was like one of my operating theories for a brief period of time there, is that we're just an energy suck. And that's all there is to it, is if you have emotional energy to give, I will take it. And I will take it by way of talking to you and making you listen to me and making you listen to what I think are my good ideas because you came and asked me for help, or you look like you need my help.
Oh, like, yeah, you automatically think you have the best idea. And then as soon as anyone else starts talking and expressing their idea, you're just trying to cut it down and bring yours back to the top instead of really trying to listen and think like, does this person have a better idea? Yeah. And I feel like I've attacked you this whole time here, but...
Well, it's because as a child, I was never allowed to talk about my ideas.
I mean, you do have a lot of good ideas. I mean, you don't rise up.
That's the problem, is I do have a lot of really good ideas.
Right, and that's kind of the catch-22 about narcissism, is a lot of them are very successful people, and a lot of them do have a lot of really good traits, and they didn't get to be that way. Confidence. They didn't get to be that way by not being told that they're great and that by, subsequently being good. So, but at some point it goes too far.
People listen to you when you act confidently. So even if your idea is crap, if you deploy it in a very confident way, people will respond well and they'll put more energy behind it, which is making it more likely to succeed.
You can be awesome and still be focused on others, or you can be awesome and be focused on yourself. And do you give to others or do you take from others? I think that's probably, if we can distill it down here. And I think you've learned how to be awesome and give more.
There was a moment in a conversation with a different person, and it was a realization I made prior to that, but I actually had not really verbalized it to anybody, where I realized it takes a shitload of energy to really, truly, actively listen to somebody when they talk. When they open their mouth and you care about every word they say, how to string it together, what are they meaning by this, how can I be misinterpreting them to be a true, active, engaged listener, it requires a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that I spend a lot of time requiring that energy of other people. And it kind of just felt wrong. And I never really realized how much energy it takes to listen actively until I had been called out by other people for being a lazy listener.
It is. It's very exhausting, to be a truly active listener. Okay, so we need to wrap it up. I know we're going to wrap it up here.
Almost 24 minutes here, so we're asking a lot of people.
No, I think we should re-listen to these two through that lens of what you just said there and think about, what I said. Okay, we're just going to wrap it up here because I'm drawing a blank now. But
the $1 million mistake is walking around.
The $1 million mistake is
they out here saying.
They
in here in your head. They in here saying. The voices in your head are saying that you're the shit.
You don't matter.
And if you walk around,
you don't matter. You are one person out of 7 billion.
You walk around thinking you matter. You walk around thinking your ideas matter.
However,
you are going to have a really big wake-up call coming one day because all those really cool ideas are going to come crashing down, or at least a sufficient number of them. What are you going to do to pick up the mess?
You know what? You are made of stardust.
Just like that garbage.
Just like that garbage. Don't go looking for lines.
Good.
This is dance it out time.
The whole song.
This is my gift to you. This is my parting gift to you, is giving you this chance to dance it out here.
Time Dilation by Jonah Freed.
I was like an ad again here. Jonah.
I will be an ad for Jonah Freed. He's got a good song here.
Didn't we try to contact him one night?
No, we just like
Okay, we're babbling. All right, so don't go looking for kittens
because you
or
might
tigers or owls.
find a lion.
You might find a lion. Roar. Give me a good roar. I always do roar. Manly roar. Manly man, you. Roar.